Today I'm going to talk about what I'm doing in my cash now that multiple accounts like UOB One and OCBC 360 have been cutting rates, and how I've been getting as much as 5 to 6% per annum interest on my cash savings. Now, as usual, things can change, so remember to stay updated with my Telegram to earn more from your credit cards, saving accounts, etc. And more than 31,000 people have already joined. The first thing I want to emphasize is that I think that funds should be earmarked for different purposes. For funds that I need in the short term, I would put them into instruments that I can access immediately, and I would usually get a lower return on such funds. For money that I can afford not to touch for a few years, but might probably need them soon, I can afford to take a little bit more risk to try get better returns. And of course, for funds that I won't touch for many years, I will put them into investments that can be volatile in the short term, but will get me the best returns in the long run. Of course, disclaimer, I'm just talking about how I'm handling my own funds, and while I hope this will be useful for you, please don't follow anything you see online blindly. In the very first pot for short-term funds, I have put aside $80,000 in SSB since last year, and both bonds give more than 3% per annum, which I'm very happy with. Fast-free 3% per annum is almost unheard of these days, and I can get this rate for as long as 10 years. I treat these SSB savings as my emergency savings in the event I need cash urgently. Now, of course, SSB isn't fully liquid because you can only get your funds earliest at the start of the following month, but I will still have some spare cash lying around, and I can make use of my credit cards to pay for any emergency stuff, and then pay it off only when the statement is due, so this little lag time isn't that much of a concern to me. In fact, I see it more as a feature because it kind of acts like a money lock, right? If my banking account gets compromised, the hackers don't have immediate access to my SSB fund, so I kind of like it this way. Now, if you have not already invested in SSBs and wondering if this month is still, it still makes sense, I kind of think that it could still be okay to enter this month's SSB. It gives 1.71% per annum for the first few years, and if you really hold it for the long term, it can give you around 2% per annum average returns. Now, given how fast-free accounts like Maribank and GXS have gone to as low as 1.3% per annum, I think SSB looks a lot more attractive in comparison now, especially if we are expecting rates to continue declining. So for pot 1, the goal is more liquidity than returns, though of course if you can get 2 to 3% per annum on it, why not? 3% on $80,000 is $2,400 per year, which can be used to pay for one or two of my overseas trips, so I'm quite happy with that. For the second pot of funds that I can afford not to touch for a few years at least, I would expect at least 5% per annum return, so with this kind of expected return, I would normally need to take a little bit more risk and look beyond bank accounts. About 4 months ago, I started putting a test amount into what I call vanilla money, which is basically a portfolio of bond funds. It's exactly 4 months to the day I started testing it out, and my returns so far are pretty good. It started at $1,000, and after 4 months, the amount now is $1,021.61. That's around 6.6% per annum returns. Now check out the article on it if you want to find out more. Now of course, while these are investment grade bond funds of relatively short tenure, there's still going to be short-term volatility, so I have to be able to accept times when the values go down in the short term. I should only invest things that I can afford not to touch for at least a couple of years or so. Now, I was planning to increase my amount here, but another tool popped up which I have found more compelling, and that's the StanChart Bonus Saver account, which is now advertising as high as 8.05% per annum interest. Now, spoiler alert, you can't actually get 8.05% per annum in a realistic manner, but I found that 5.55% per annum is entirely possible, and that is what I'm using to get very good, almost risk-free returns on my cash savings for pot 2. And so that's what I've done instead of increasing my holdings in vanilla money. 5.55% per annum is around the returns that bonds will give me, except this is guaranteed, so I'd rather go for this as long as the bank maintains the rate. Now to get this rate, you just need to fulfill 3 categories. Salary credit for 1.5% per annum bonus interest, card spend for another 1.5% per annum bonus interest, and invest for 2.5% per annum bonus interest. That's a total of 5.55% per annum, which is obviously a very attractive rate for a savings account, and this is for up to $100,000 of savings. Currently, there's a fantastic promo giving as much as $288, so check out the link in my description box for the latest promo. Before we move on, let's look at something you can consider using for both pot 2 and pot 3. So I was at Moomoo Fest 2025 to check out the latest happenings in the world of investments and all things Moomoo. Do you know that you can now use Moomoo AI to ask burning questions you might have before putting your hard-earned funds into investments? Just go to your Moomoo app and look for Moomoo AI at the top of your app. Ask your questions and Moomoo AI will assess recent news and trends to formulate a response based on your query. For instance, I asked Moomoo AI what's the outlook for Apple in the short term, and Moomoo AI shows me relevant information and data to help me learn more about the company and what to look out for. When browsing any stock, you can also summon Moomoo AI to quickly understand the stock's recent big news and events without having to do all the research yourself. The best part about Moomoo AI is that it is absolutely free and can ask up to 20 questions a month. Definitely check it out in your Moomoo app, and if you have yet to get your own Moomoo SG account, sign up now to get up to 1,120 SGD in rewards, including 20 SGD Nvidia stock when you deposit 100 SGD. Enter code SATISFY to redeem, and watch to the end for more details at the end of this video. I will have a written guide coming out really soon on my Telegram, so subscribe for updates, but here is a quick guide on how to fulfill each condition. For salary, you need your employer to credit at least $3,000 salary to the account, and I know what many people will ask right now. Does the UOB One salary workaround work? Where you use another account to pay yourself a salary? Unfortunately, it is not as straightforward an answer to give because reports have been mixed. Some have reported success, while there are those who have not received the bonus interest. The best is still to use your legitimate salary to fulfill this condition, and since UOB One and OCBC 360 are pretty much lousy now after their nerfs, your salary can come to this account. Now, for those without a formal salary or just don't want to bother your HR department, I wouldn't give up on this account yet because of your salary requirement. Firstly, mixed reports means there's still a chance to get the bonus interest, and even if you don't, just fulfilling the card spend and invest category still get a very generous 4.05% per annum interest, which is significantly higher than other savings accounts right now. Plus, if you sign up for a bonus saver account using my link, you can get as much as $288 in sign-up rewards, which is a very attractive deal for a bank account that gives such a high interest rate. So, back to the account requirements for the card spend category, the account requires you to make at least $1,000 of spend on a bonus saver credit card or debit card. And both cards do not give any cashback or rewards whatsoever. So you should avoid putting a retail spend on this card. If you have insurance policies that accept card payments, you can use the bonus saver card for insurance premiums, and this will count towards the $1,000 spend requirement. Otherwise, what I do is that I use Kala or iPayMy to achieve the spend requirement in a fast-free manner. Yes, these services tend to charge a fee of anywhere between 1.8 to 2.4%, but by using a bonus saver card on these services, you can reserve your daily spend for your 5 to 8% cashback cards or 4 miles per dollar cards instead. Lastly, for the invest category, you just need to invest $20,000 of unit trust or trade $20,000 equities with the bank to qualify for 2.5% per annum bonus interest for 6 months. Usually, I tell people to be extra careful when it comes to investment products sold by banks because they tend to be investment-linked policies with super high fees and long lock-in periods. But for this category, you can invest in 100% liquid investments with relatively low fees. In fact, what I did was to take advantage of SC Invest Portfolios, which currently has a 0% sale charge promo. And I bought $20,000 of their Cash Plus portfolio, which is the most risk-averse portfolio they have with mostly bond exposure. There's going to be some volatility here, but again, it's my pot 2 money, and this $20,000 investment can help get bonus 2.5% per annum interest on my $100,000, so I feel that it is well worth the investment. Currently, it is doing pretty good. I invested $20,000 since 23rd July, and it's now at $20,103 with $93 of dividends paid out recently. This is a really good return in such a short period of time, but of course, I don't expect it to maintain at this level moving forward. So in all, I got 5.55% per annum interest, which should be $471 of interest for a monthly average balance of $100,000. And yeah, that's how I get anywhere between 5 to 6% per annum for my pot 2 savings, which is either going into bond funds or high yield savings account, which of course is getting harder to do, but it's still possible with bonus saver. Now, pot 3 is a whole other story on its own because it involves long-term investments, so that is another story for another day. Now, if you want to earn more from your credit cards, savings account, etc., join my Telegram. And also, if you want to learn more about vanilla money, check out this video where I talk about how I've been getting, around 6% per annum returns. And yeah, I'll see you in that video. To celebrate SG60, Moomoo SG is giving up to 1,120 SGD in welcome rewards to new users. All you have to do is to sign up, enter code SATISFY, and deposit just 100 SGD to get 20 SGD of Nvidia shares. On top of that, you can choose to fund 3,000 SGD for 70 SGD of rewards, or 10,000 SGD for 280 SGD of rewards, or 100,000 SGD for 800 SGD of rewards, or 500,000 SGD for 1,100 SGD of rewards, which include free Nvidia shares and trading cash coupons. In all, that is a grand total of up to 1,120 SGD just to start your investment journey with Moomoo. Check out the link in my description box for more details, and thanks for signing up, and thanks to Moomoo for sponsoring this video.